The headlines are stunning. A $50 billion mega canal through Nicaragua, backed by China, aiming to rival the legendary Panama Canal. For over a century, Panama has been the gatekeeper of global maritime trade. Now a new contender promises a wider, deeper, and longer path for the world's largest ships. The implications are enormous, touching global economics, politics, and the very landscape of Nicaragua. A little-known Chinese company has been granted the rights to build and operate this monumental waterway, with the Nicaraguan government touting it as a ticket to prosperity. Tens of thousands of jobs and a transformed economy are promised, but questions loom large. Can such a massive project be built? What will it cost the environment and the people? The proposed canal would be over 3 times longer than Panama's, requiring enough excavation to bury Manhattan. It's not just a canal. Ports, airports, and free trade zones are part of the vision, aiming to redraw the map of global trade. This is about shifting power in a region long dominated by the United States. Yet, as of December 2025, the project is mired in delays, skepticism, and opposition. Is this the future of global shipping, or a high-stakes gamble that could leave behind environmental destruction and broken promises? To understand what's truly at stake, we need to look at all the pieces. To grasp Nicaragua's ambitions, we must first look at the Panama Canal, a symbol of human ingenuity since 1914. The French failed, but the US conquered disease and geography to finish it, forever changing global shipping. Its lock system lifts ships over the continental divide, cutting the New York-San Francisco journey by 8,000 miles. Today, 6% of world trade passes through its locks. But the canal faces new challenges. Ships have grown larger, and even after Panama's 2016 expansion, the canal is still a bottleneck. Water shortages and growing trade volumes strain its capacity. Any disruption, drought, maintenance, or politics can ripple through global supply chains. The shipping industry craves more capacity and competition. The limits of Panama create a powerful argument for a second waterway. This vulnerability and the relentless demand for growth keep the Nicaraguan canal dream alive. The world is watching to see if Nicaragua can finally seize its moment. Enter the Hong Kong-Nicaragua Canal Development Group, or HKND, led by Chinese tycoon Wang Jing. HKND secured a 50-year concession from Nicaragua to build and operate the canal, with an option for another 50 years. The $50 billion plan envisions not just a canal, but a logistics ecosystem: ports, airports, and free trade zones. The route would stretch 173 miles, cutting across Lake Nicaragua, the country's largest freshwater resource. Designed to handle the world's largest ships, the canal aims to capture a major share of global maritime traffic and transform Nicaragua's economy. Yet, HKND's opaque finances and Beijing's ambiguous involvement fueled skepticism. Was this a commercial venture or a geopolitical move by China? The Nicaraguan government rushed the agreement through, granting HKND sweeping powers over land and resources. The stage was set for a monumental clash of ambition, economics, and nature. The dream of a Nicaraguan canal predates Panama's by centuries. Spanish explorers and 19th-century American industrialists saw the San Juan River and Lake Nicaragua as a natural route. For a time, the U.S. nearly chose Nicaragua over Panama, but politics and a well-timed volcano scare shifted the decision south. Since then, Nicaragua's canal dream has been revived repeatedly, always stymied by funding, instability, or sheer scale. The HKND project is just the latest and boldest chapter in this saga. It taps into a deep national longing for prosperity and global relevance. Each attempt has left Nicaragua with a sense of what if. Now, with China's backing, the country hopes to finally realize a centuries-old vision. But history warns that dreams this big come with enormous risks. The proposed Nicaragua Canal dwarfs Panama's 173 miles versus 51, requiring unprecedented excavation. It's designed for ships carrying up to 25,000 containers, far beyond Panama's capacity. The engineering challenge is immense. 5 billion cubic meters of earth to move, and a channel dredged through Lake Nicaragua's sensitive ecosystem. Unlike Panama's artificial lake, Nicaragua's plan risks disrupting a vital freshwater resource. The context is different too. Panama was a U.S. state project. Nicaragua's is a private venture with opaque funding. This shapes the risks, politics, and chances of success. The scale is titanic, but so are the uncertainties. Can Nicaragua pull off what even superpowers have struggled to achieve? The engineering obstacles are staggering. 173 miles of canal, some over 90 feet deep, cutting through hills and Lake Nicaragua. Dredging the lake threatens water quality and aquatic life, risking a vital resource for millions. The canal's locks would draw enormous amounts of fresh water, raising fears of shortages during dry seasons. Lake Nicaragua is the nation's lifeblood. Siphoning it for shipping could spark conflict over water. Financially, the $50 billion price tag is daunting, especially for a company with no mega-project experience. HKND's secretive funding and optimistic revenue projections have drawn skepticism from investors and analysts. Environmental risks loom large. The route cuts through rainforests, wetlands, and indigenous lands, threatening habitats and endangered species. Pollution, oil spills, and invasive species could devastate Lake Nicaragua. These concerns have galvanized fierce opposition from scientists, activists, and local communities. The canal's promise is matched only by the scale of its risks. For many Nicaraguans, the canal is hope, a chance to escape poverty and create tens of thousands of jobs. The government touts a future of booming investment, new ports, airports, and a transformed economy. Supporters see it as a silver bullet for the nation's deepest problems. But for thousands living along the route, it's a source of fear, threatening displacement, lost livelihoods, and broken communities. The canal's path cuts through rural and indigenous lands, raising the specter of forced expropriation. Environmentalists warn of irreversible damage to the Mesoamerican biological corridor and Lake Nicaragua, the nation's sweet sea. The lake is a source of water, food, and identity. Its destruction would be a national tragedy. The canal divides Nicaragua between dreams of prosperity and fears of losing everything. The stakes could not be higher. The Nicaragua Canal is a geopolitical game-changer. For China, it's a chance to secure trade routes and project power in the U.S.'s backyard. A Chinese-controlled canal would reduce reliance on the U.S.-influenced Panama Canal and give Beijing leverage over global shipping. The project signals China's growing ambition in Latin America, challenging decades of U.S. dominance. Washington watches warily, concerned about transparency, environmental impact, and strategic balance. For Nicaragua, aligning with China offers independence from Western institutions and a bold new path. The canal is more than infrastructure. It's a statement of sovereignty and a bet on a shifting world order. The outcome could reshape hemispheric power for decades. On the ground, the canal stirs both hope and anxiety. Business leaders see economic opportunity, jobs, investment, and a shot at global relevance. Environmentalists warn of disaster. The route cuts through protected reserves, and Lake Nicaragua faces pollution and invasive species. Local communities fear displacement and the loss of their way of life, organizing protests and demanding answers. Their question, "Where will we go?" remains unanswered. Neighboring countries like Costa Rica worry about cross-border environmental fallout. Shipping companies and investors watch with skepticism, wondering if the canal will ever be built. Will it spark healthy competition or become a costly white elephant? As of late 2025, construction has stalled and doubts are mounting. The Nicaragua Canal remains a grand, uncertain dream. its fate hanging in the balance.